We all lie, sometimes to protect, sometimes to escape, and sometimes we don't even know why. But what's the psychology behind lying? Now let's be honest with ourselves, folks. Every single one of us has told a fib, a white lie, maybe even a whopper at some point. It's part of the human condition, isn't it? But just because it's common doesn't mean we shouldn't take a good, hard look at we do it. What's really driving that urge to bend the truth, to present a version of reality that just ain't so? You see, these deceptions, big or small, they have consequences. They can chip away at trust, create distance in our relationships, and frankly, they can mess with our own heads. Living a lie, even a seemingly insignificant one, takes energy. It creates a disconnect between who we are and who we're pretending to be. And I gotta ask you, is that how you want to live? Constantly looking over your shoulder, trying to remember which story you told to whom? I don't think so. So today, here on MinDSCopE, we're gonna roll up our sleeves and get into the nitty-gritty of lying. We're not here to point fingers or cast judgment, we're here to understand. We're gonna explore the psychological underpinnings, what's happening in your brain when you choose deception over truth, and maybe, just maybe, we can all learn a little something about being more authentic with ourselves and with the people around us. It's time to get real about lying. A lie is a deliberate attempt to mislead, without giving prior notice of that intent. But lying isn't just about words, it's about manipulation of belief, deliberate attempt. That means this ain't an accident, folks. This isn't misspeaking or getting your facts mixed up unintentionally. This is a conscious choice, a calculated move to make someone believe something that you know, deep down, isn't the truth. You're setting out with a purpose, and that purpose is to steer someone away from what's real. It's an active process, not a passive mistake. You're in the driver's seat when you decide to tell a lie, whether you want to admit that or not. And that second part, manipulation of belief, that's crucial. It's not just about the words coming out of your mouth, it's about the impact those words, or even your actions or your silence, have on another person's understanding of the world. You're trying to construct a false reality in their mind. Psychologist Bella DePaulo studied hundreds of lies and found most people lie at least once a day. The reasons? Here are the big ones. To avoid punishment, to protect someone's feelings, to gain a reward, to maintain a self-image, to influence others. Once a day, folks. Some of you are probably thinking, heck, I hit that quota before breakfast. And you might be right. The point is, lying is common, it's pervasive. But just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean we shouldn't understand the drivers behind it. These reasons, Dr. DePaulo points out, they cover a lot of ground, from the self-preservation instincts to the more social and sometimes manipulative aspects of our interactions. Let's take avoiding punishment. That's a big one. Starts when we're kids, doesn't it?
You break the cookie jar, you deny it. You miss a deadline at work, you make up an excuse. It's about sidestepping negative consequences.
Then there's gaining a reward.
This is about getting something you want, a job, a promotion, admiration, maybe even a date. You puff up your accomplishments, you exaggerate your experience, all in the hopes of coming out ahead.
Chapter 3. Your brain on baloney, the neurological nitty-gritty. When you lie, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making, has to work harder to invent a false story and keep it consistent. Think about that for a second. Your brain, your command center, is literally putting in overtime when you decide to spin a yarn. It's not just about coming up with the lie itself, it's about suppressing the truth, which is often the more automatic response. Then you gotta construct this alternative narrative, make sure it sounds plausible, and deliver it with some semblance of believability. That's a whole lot of mental heavy lifting right there. It's like your brain's trying to juggle multiple balls at once. You've got the actual truth floating around in there, then you've got the fabricated story, and then you've got to monitor the other person's reaction to make sure they're buying what you're selling. And here's the kicker. You gotta that lie. Because if you get caught in an inconsistency, the whole house of cards comes tumbling down. Chapter 4. The truth about truth detectors, can you tell? Contrary to popular belief, most people can't accurately detect lies. Body language is unreliable. Liars don't always fidget or avoid eye contact. Alright, let's get something straight right now. How many of you think you're a pretty good judge of character? That you can spot a liar a mile away? Well, I hate to break it to you, but the research shows that most of us are barely better than chance when it comes to detecting deception. That whole idea that liars can't look you in the eye or that they're always fidgeting and sweating, that's mostly stuff you see on TV. It ain't the real world. The truth is, a lot of what we think are tells for lying are just signs of nervousness or anxiety. And guess what? Telling the truth in a high-stakes situation can make you just as nervous as telling a lie.
Some of the most accomplished liars out there can look you dead in the eye, cool as a cucumber, and spin a tale that would make your head spin. Conversely, an honest person who's under pressure might stumble over their words, avoid eye contact, and look guilty as sin, even when they're telling the God's honest truth. So, relying on those old stereotypes about body language, that's a recipe for getting it wrong. So, if the common signs are unreliable, what do the experts look for?
Chapter 5. The Gray Area. When a lie might not be a crime. Not necessarily. White lies can help preserve relationships and prevent conflict. Now hold on a minute before you think I'm giving everyone a free pass to fib. We're talking about a very specific and often debated category here, the white lie. You know the ones. Your friend gets a terrible haircut and asks how it looks. Your kid draws a picture that's, well, abstract and you tell him it's a masterpiece. Are these lies fundamentally bad? Some would argue that in these instances the intent is to spare feelings, to offer encouragement, or to simply navigate a socially awkward moment without causing undue distress.
The key, as with so many things in life, often comes down to, and why are you telling this white lie? Is it genuinely to protect the other person's emotions? To offer a moment of kindness? Or is it more about you avoiding an uncomfortable conversation? There's a big difference. If your white lies are consistently about shielding others from minor temporary discomfort, and they don't cause any real harm, then perhaps they fall into a gray area.
We lie to protect, to survive, to belong, but in the end, honesty builds the strongest bonds. The next time you lie, ask yourself, what am I really trying to hide? So we've dug deep into the whys and wherefores of lying. It's clear that deception is a complex human behavior driven by a whole range of motives, from sparing someone's feelings to protecting our own skin. But here's the bottom line, folks. While lies might offer a temporary fix or a short-term gain, it's authenticity and honesty that forge the connections that truly last. That question, what am I trying to hide? That's a powerful tool for self-reflection. Get real with yourself first, and the truth often follows. Living a life built on a foundation of honesty isn't always the easiest path, I'll grant you that. Confronting uncomfortable truths, having difficult conversations, that takes courage. But think about the alternative. The constant vigilance, the mental gymnastics of keeping your story straight, the fear of being found out, that's an exhausting way to live.